Welcome back to Hell House Horror Collection, and today's episode is guaranteed to rip you to pieces. We're doing Leatherface, Neca Ultimate box set. It might even hang you from a meat hook and let you drain. Well, let me put this beast down. You know, the saw is family. Alright, now, we're going to get into the Leatherface unboxing. Before we start off, I just want to let you know that there also is a Atari Neca Ultimate Leatherface that came out. If you haven't seen this, in my opinion, it looks terrible. If you've never seen gameplay from the Atari game, it is terrible. Let me just say that. But we're not going to review that figure. We're going to review the good one. So let's go ahead and jump into this. I'm going to go ahead and pull the box set out. Very good artwork on the box. Original movie poster. Looks great. Amazing. The side art just says the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The top, bottom. Let's take a look at the back. It's got Leatherface, shows his little implements and tools, his alternate head, and everything right there. All around, pretty decent box set. The way it looks, it's not too bad. The front is amazing. I think they could have did a little better with the back, maybe. You see, it's got the stitching at the bottom. Just a few little windows showing you, the weapons he comes with, the alternate head and stuff. They could have had a little more to it. But overall, the front is the masterpiece. The original movie poster. I love it. It's great. Let's go ahead and open it up so you can see what we got inside. Alright, now, you see we got Leatherface. Comes with his iconic yellow chainsaw from the film. The alternate old lady head. He's got the butcher's hook. The not the sledgehammer, I'm sorry. The little mallet. His little knife. Great figure. If you notice, the apron is actually cloth. I love it. I would like to see some more NECA Ultimates of some Leatherfaces. A part 2, a part 3, maybe even what was the last one? Next Generation. Ultimate Thomas Hewitt from the remake or the prequel one. Even the Texas Chainsaw 3D or the prequel, which was just simply called Leatherface. It was pretty good in my opinion, not too bad. But let's get on to this opening. Let me go ahead and open him up for you here. Go ahead and pull him out. Now, see what all he's got right there and how he looks. Really, really good. I'm really glad that they put the butcher hook in there. I'd like to make a diorama with it hanging. Maybe get some little wood like the little hobby shops make. Make the little stand. Stain it with a dark brown stain. And hang the hook from it. I think that would be awesome. I'm most likely going to do that here pretty soon now that I'm thinking about it. That sounds great. Let's go ahead and get him out so you can see him, and then I'll pull out his accessories. Here we go. He stands pretty well. Let me go ahead and show you. The apron is cloth. I feel his head looks down a little too much. He's got his bone bracelet on. Stands really good, surprisingly. Let's go ahead and we'll get his chainsaw out. I'll show you the old lady head. Right there. Now we got his butcher hook. Let me see if I can get that out. There we go. Got the butcher's hook. And I'm not going to take, he's got this little knife in his meat cleaver. Go ahead and show you that again, just so you can, I don't want to pull that out. The little cleaver and his little knife. Really, really cool. Let's put it off to the side. Now, with NECA Ultimates, I think I said before it was like 25 points of articulation. I was wrong. Let me correct that. I think it's like 17 or 18. Wrist articulation, elbow articulation, shoulder articulation, of course neck swivels. He's got hip. Does he have mid-chest? I'm not 100% sure about that. It feels like it. He's got his hips, waist and hips, single knee articulation, and his ankles. Alright, let me get you a good look at him. Really good figure. I'm really impressed at how good he looks. Really, really well done. The blood on the apron. I wish it had been a little bit more. You know, he'd have been a little more bloody. But anyway, it's not bad. He's pretty good. I wish they maybe put some blood on his forearms. Would have been cool. A little bit splashed up like on the undershirt. A little blood on his tie maybe, and see his tie's a little warped. It keeps popping up right there. All right, let's go ahead and before I put any weapons in his hands, I'm gonna go ahead and change his head. Let's take a look at the old lady head. Now, I'd like to get another one of these figures, just so I can have him displayed with his first mask, and then I can also have him displayed with this mask. And now that I'm thinking about it, they should do another NECA Ultimate Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1 figure, Ultimate Leatherface, but have the pretty lady mask. Have him in the suit. That would be awesome. Which, we know NECA has the molds because NECA Retro Cloth has come out with the original Leatherface. Then they did the pretty lady Leatherface from the Part 1 film. So maybe they're holding it. Maybe they'll give it to us as a Christmas present. Who knows? But it would be really awesome. I'd really like to have an ultimate of that figure. I mean, they gave us the Atari Leatherface, which, if you've ever seen them, the whole body, it's this mold with this head. But the whole body is green, even the apron. And then the head is all, like, it's not even detailed like this. It's just all yellow. It's got the hair, but it's all yellow. It's worth putting in the collection. I do not have it personally. I had passed it up a few times to get some other NECA Ultimates. But if I ever see it again, which I probably won't see it in the store, I have to order it. I'm going to grab it. I need to. Just to put it in the collection. Let's go ahead and look at the old woman mask. Really, really good sculpt. Really captures how he looked. Now, if y'all are really familiar with the first film, you know, the Sawyer family, Jed Sawyer, which was Leatherface. He was like a child trapped in a man's body. And if you remember when Drayton Sawyer got home and saw that Leatherface had cut up the front door when he was chasing Sally through the house, he was pissed. And you seen how shut off Leatherface became and how like scared he was of Drayton Sawyer. Was hiding, and Leatherface, he never really talked, but he like made sounds. He would say like uh-huh and uh-uh. But in that scene when Drayton's asking him, "You let that bitch get away?" and he's like it was just pretty cool. Overall, I give the original film a 10. Definitely a 10. The remake, I'm going to give that, it's going to get a 9, only because they changed the name from Jedediah Sawyer to Thomas Hewitt. It was the Hewitts. And they messed with it a little bit. Not too bad. Still was a really great film, but you cannot mess with the original. It was really good. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and change his head back. Oh, put that right there. Let's get that nice head back on. Okay. Alright, now we want to see him with his chainsaw in his hand. Let's see if we can get it in there. Okay. Now, his hands are a little hard. Now, some figures NECA did, they'd make their hands soft and more malleable so you could pose your figures a little better. Now, I got him here. See, with the chainsaw. Really, really cool, man. I mean, he looks great. Great figure. I've been a big Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan. I grew up watching horror movies with my grandmother. I didn't know what Saturday morning cartoons was. It was Friday Night Fright Fest. Is what we grew up with. Sci-Fi Channel. Always had cheesy horror. And then you get close to Halloween, they had Halloween marathons playing all the horror movies, man. I grew a passion for horror movies very early. And once I started finding out about collectible figures, man, that was it. I was done. I had to get every single one I can. It was like Pokemon. I had to get them all. But there we go. Jedediah Sawyer with the chainsaw. I'm going to get you another good close-up look. You see the blood on the saw? The details of the saw is really good. I think they did a better job on this chainsaw for the NECA Ultimate than they did with the NECA Cult Classics Leatherfaces. The chainsaw itself looked bulky. The blade itself was real bulky and big. It didn't really look as realistic as it should, as this one does. Overall, I hope a lot of y'all watching actually have these figures, and you know what I'm talking about when I talk about the bulky chainsaws from the cult classics compared to this Neca Ultimate. Oh, let's see. Okay, I got it out of his hand. Alright, now we're going to show you the butcher's hook. Let's see how he looks holding the butcher's hook. And look, I like that the butcher hook has an eye on it. So if you wanted to build a diorama and hang him from it, it would be really, really awesome. Oh, let me see. This is a little tough. His hands are so hard. And it's like almost like I'm scared to break the hook trying to get it in his hand to feed it through. Because it is so... Oh, look. Yeah, give me a second, guys. Here we go. I get it to stay. There we go. That's about as good as I'm going to be able to get it in there. Just that butcher's hook looks great. It's got the blood on the end from all the victims that's been hanging from it. So there we go. Not too many accessories. And I don't see what else it could have came with from the film. Maybe the bucket and the hammer. I think would have been awesome for it to come with. A bloody bucket and the bloody hammer. But other than that, maybe some bones. A couple bones, like a femur, a tibia, maybe a piece of hip bone, a skull, a mandible. Would have been cool, a couple bones. Some of the other figures the Leatherfaces released came with bones or skin pieces, a skint face, which if I review those later, we'll get into those. But there you go. We have the NECA Ultimate Leatherface from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Go ahead and check him out again. Let me put him up there with him and his butcher's hook. Now I'm going to set this one off to the side. And I'm just going to discuss the other Leatherfaces I have up here right now. Which, as you see here, this is the NECA Cult Classic Leatherface. Really, really good figure. As you can see, the chainsaw blade, it's so bulky. It's not terrible. It's just bulky. His base, he did come with some bones. A few of them. And the hammer. Unfortunately, didn't come with the bucket, but he's got the hammer. Now, if we look at the base, I'm going to go ahead and take him off so I can show you the base. Another bone. Here's the other one. The base has skulls on it and some bones dropped on the floor. Really, really awesome base. I've noticed a lot with newer figures, they're not making bases for them anymore. As you see, the NECA Ultimates, none of them come with bases. I don't know why, but... Let's throw all this back on. And this is the NECA Cult Classic original Texas Chainsaw Massacre Leatherface. Now, the apron is rubber. He doesn't have much articulation. He's more set in that pose. I'll go ahead and get him up close for you. See how cool he looks. Really, really good figure. I'm highly impressed with this one, other than the fact that the chainsaw was so bulky. And then here we have the hitchhiker from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. If you remember in the sequel, the dead body that Chop Top was carrying around was him, and they called it Nubbins. I don't know if that was his name, or if that's just what they called the body after he had died at the end of the film. But this, in the original film, was the hitchhiker, played by Ed Neal. Oh, I'm sorry. The original Leatherface was played by Gunnar Hansen. Hands down, the best portrayal of Leatherface was by Gunnar Hansen. This is a really good figure. This was made by Mezco's Cinema of Fear line. Really, really good. Pretty good articulation. This is all his accessories he came with. I believe I'm not missing any. I don't think he came with anything else. He's got the razor blade. He's got his little bracelet around his wrist. The camera that he takes a picture of Franklin with. Let me go ahead and take it off and I'll show you that. He takes a picture of Franklin in the van. And he takes the picture. And he's like, it's a good picture. $2. You pay me. And Franklin's like, oh, it's not a good picture. And then he gets pissed, pulls his razor blade out, grabs Franklin, cuts him on the arm. Then you know what happens from there. They kick him out the van. He had cut his hand previously, so he smears his blood all over the van. Really cool. But if you look underneath the camera that goes around his neck, there's his little, I'm calling it his roadkill pouch that he had the tin foil and the black powder in and the matches that when Franklin didn't want the picture, he puts the picture on the aluminum foil, puts the black powder on it, lights it on fire, closes it up, sticks it back in his roadkill pouch. But really good figure. Let me put him up close. You can see he's got his birthmark on his face. Really, really well. His little razor blade. I believe in, yes, I'll show you this hand. The scene from the film that he cut his hand, you can see in his hand that it's bloody and he had cut his hand. That's what he smeared on the van. I'm not sure what he was writing, but he did smear his blood all over the van. He's got his little hitchhiker bag that he holds in that hand. Really good figure. Mezco Cinema Fear. If you do not have this one, good luck finding it, and good luck finding it for a good price. Probably won't find this figure under 130 bucks, brand new, and you probably will not find it used, open, selling on eBay from somebody. So good luck if you're looking for that, and if you already have it, good for you, man. That was a great find. Now we're going to jump over here. This is the Pretty Woman Leatherface from the original. This is also NECA Cult Classic. Really, really good figure. Awesome accessory he comes with is the armadillo that was at the beginning of the film. I really love that he came with this. I've been having this figure probably since I was 16. I try to keep them well. The handle of the chainsaw did break. I do have the pieces for it. I need to glue it back together. But I just have him displayed right there. It's just by his hand. Sorry for people who are going to hate on me because it's broken. But get a look. Let me stop holding his head. Let me get him by his leg. Well, you can go ahead and see his face. Only thing I have to say about this figure is I wish the makeup was more, you know, abundant on his face. You can see the blues and the reds more. You really can't notice the makeup too much unless you look real hard. But overall, I'm not going to complain too much about that. It's a really great figure. It's got the Texas desert base with the little shrubbery around it. Really, really good. And the little armadillo is just a plus. The armadillo makes this figure a 10. Now, let's go ahead and move him over. That's the NECA Cult Classics. And then we have the old school I want to say 1999 or 1998 release by Todd McFarlane's movie Maniacs, Leatherface. This is also from the original film. It's a really, really good figure for its time. I'll say this. If you notice, the chainsaw is not the chainsaw from the original film. This chainsaw is the chainsaw from Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, where Leatherface was played by R.A. Mihailov. And this is the chainsaw he got as a present from his brother. And on the saw, it said the saw is family. This one does not say that, but that is the saw from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. Now, these figures, not much articulation. They're more statuesque figures. But this is the non-bloody variant. There is a bloody variant and a super bloody variant, which I would really like to get my hands on both those other ones and have them displayed side by side. This one did come with some awesome accessories. He came with the bucket, beat up bucket. Now see, the bloody and the super bloody one is just covered in blood. What I might end up doing is going to the hobby shop, get some good red, some blood red paint, modeling paint that I think would work well, and I'm gonna bloody him up myself. There's his little hammer, his little mallet that he was banging Sally in the head with. Well, Grandpa was banging Sally in the head with it a couple times. Old bastard. And he came with a severed head. Now, looking at this head, I'm not sure which character it is from the original film. Now, Sally's boyfriend, I don't remember his name, wore glasses, but his hairstyle was not like that. He more had kind of like a curly fro, if you would say. It was kind of poofy, really reminiscent of the 70s hairstyle, and his glasses, but he did not have a goatee. But that's a really cool accessory, the severed head. And he came with a severed arm, a hand and forearm. Really, really good. Now, like I said, the bloody and the super bloody variants All these accessories, including the chainsaw, the bucket, the hammer, and the head, and Leatherface, his apron and everything, is covered in blood. All bloody. Really, really great. I'm going to go ahead and move him back over so I can show you the movie poster that comes with all the movie Maniacs figures. Now, the stands have changed from series 3 and 4, and then when it got to 5, they made them a little smaller. And then the last series of movie Maniacs was 7, which was RoboCop, Corporal Hicks from Aliens, and then the rest was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake figures, which was Leatherface, Old Monty, Sheriff Hoyt, and Aaron. And all of those did not come with any movie posters, which in my opinion I was highly disappointed in that. They were a big part. They was just as exciting to have as the figure itself. But they stopped at Series 7. I mean, Todd McFarlane is still in business. McFarlane Toys is still throwing out action figures. Todd, if you're listening, make more movie Maniacs. Alright, that's all I got to say. Alright, you saw the Leatherfaces. I'm a huge Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan. Loved it. Now, there's a little movie that came out, I want to say, 2003, 2002, 2003, called House of a Thousand Corpses, directed by Rob Zombie. Now, if you pay close attention to the way the characters act in House of a Thousand Corpses and in Devil's Rejects, it's very Texas Chainsaw Massacre-esque. Like, it's an homage to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre family between the Firefly family and the Sawyers. Really, really great. So, and I had a request from my great buddy, Cortland Semino, asked me if I would review the Devil's Rejects. So I thought, when better to review them than after Leatherface. So I figured we throw them in at the end. So we're going to go ahead and pull them out. Here we go. We got Otis B. Driftwood. Now, these are also put out by NECA. If you try to find this box set, I'm going to pull them out one at a time. I got all 3 of them. But if you try to find this box, it is very hard to find this box set. Good luck. Not much articulation. No knee, no ankle. He's got little hip articulation. His head swivels and his arms go up and down and his wrist turns. He came with his knife. A little blood splatter on there. Little arterial spray. What's he got there? Look like an old Colt. Got his handgun. Alright, now, if these figures take a dive off the table while we're doing this, they do that. They do not stand for shit. Pardon my language. Now we're going to go with the next one. Here is Baby. Now, let me see if I can mess with her feet to get her to stand a little better. She is difficult to stand. Now, she has only her boot articulation, no hip articulation or waist, shoulder articulation, and no wrist articulation. Her head barely moves. And she comes with a revolver. Really good figure. Let me go ahead and put that up close for you. Get a look at Baby. This is the Highway Showdown at the end of Devil's Rejects box set. Come on, baby. Stand up for me. Don't fall. She might fall. Let me give you a closer look of Otis Driftwood. Look, and there she goes. Really, really good. His tattoo on his chest came out really well. Really, really, really great box set to have. Any action figure collector should definitely have this in their collection. Okay, I'm not going to be able to get her to stand. I'm going to lay her down. And last but not least, Captain Spaulding, a.k.a. Cutter. Right there. Really, really good. He's got a little more articulation. Got a little bit in the ankles. He's got wrist, forearm, shoulder, and head articulation. But these two figures, arms only go up. These comes... Oh. And his forearm likes to fall off. It came like that. It won't snap on all the way. I refuse to super glue it on there only because the way he holds his shotgun. But let me go ahead and show you him with his bloody face. Really, really awesome. Go ahead and put him there. Look, and they all really, really hard to stand. Now NECA puts out some stands, And I think that they did that to cover their ass because a lot of their old figures will not stand on their own. Here's Captain Spaulding's shotgun. Really, really awesome. Really good sculpt on that. Yeah, so the Devil's Rejects Highway Showdown box set. I hope you enjoyed it. Shout out to Cortland Semino for requesting it. Really great film. There is a third one that came out last year or the year before. I think it was last year, called Three from Hell. And while filming it, Sid Haig, the actor of Captain Spaulding, was really sick. He's in his 80s and he ended up passing away. So because he was so sick, they had to cut his role back so much. So they added in another actor to fill in his spot, not as Captain Spaulding, but as Otis's half-brother. Still was a really good film, but you can't beat House of a Thousand Corpses or Devil's Rejects. But, well, that's all for today, folks. We went over the NECA Ultimate Leatherface, went over the two cult classics, the McFarlane's movie Maniacs, the Mezco Cinema Fear Hitchhiker, and then to top it all off as a little cherry, I went in and pulled out the Devil's Rejects box set to show you. I hope you enjoyed. I enjoyed bringing this to you. Be looking for more of my videos. Like I said, like and subscribe at the bottom. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you want to see. I probably got everything. So as always, have a good one, and I'll catch you on the dark side.